getting ready to go out to Europe for like 2 weeks. Came over to EOW to support my man Akir. He's doing a little showcase. And did his thing up there, wilding out. And, we used to come down here every weekend. I still have an opportunity to come here occasionally. It's just I'm always on tour. I'm always in the studio.
Right.
I'm overseas, so whenever I can, I do come by to show love. You know what I mean?
What do you take away mostly from your experience at the Dub and everything like that? Like,
I mean, when they called it the dojo, that's really what it was. It was a place for people to come and hone their skills, to practice songs or practice their stage presence. I think that was something that was left out of artist development for years among major labels, and a lot of independents were forced to be incredible showmen to push themselves even further and further and further. Without the use of pyrotechnics or stage props, you just have to be engaging and you have to be able to control a crowd. In New York, nowadays it seems like niggas will clap for anything, but I remember a time when people would straight boo the fuck out of you and throw shit on stage, you know what I mean? Like if you came here and you were talking about being the king of New York or some shit, people were like, fuck you, yo. You're not even from the city. I get that, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not to say that I'm advocating random violence, but there was a caliber of performance and a caliber of love that they showed to real talent. And I guess that's what I always appreciated about this place, even back when it was at Baby Jupiter and shit.
So do you feel like, coming up obviously through the ranks and everything like that, you were able to really, kind of hone your style of music here? Like, was that always like accepted? And
I mean, it wasn't here. It was like there were, I would say, 5 or 6 reputable open mics at the time that were going on a consistent level.
Right.
EOW, I think, has a lot of fame and a lot of worldwide exposure because it happens to be the only one that's still around like that now.
Right.
Unfortunately, the rest of them went under. A lot of clubs fell victim to gentrification, especially in the downtown area. So in LES too, it's just the way it is. But I did EOW, I did New Eurekan, I did Wetlands, I used to battle people on the streets, and I think battling and doing open mic stuff definitely honed my skills, but it wasn't until I really got on the road and I learned how to use them when I was dealing with opening up for people and they wasn't expecting someone to come out and open up and you had to face a hostile crowd.
Right.
That's when all of that, came into effect, where it was like, all right, I'm used to performing for people that, fold their arms on some New York shit, like, fuck this nigga. So this is not a problem for me. I can maneuver this.
Yeah.
But I mean, EOW was one of the places where I learned my skills, but it was one of many places that, I had to go to. I felt like that was what helped me out the most, being someone who was willing to go everywhere. I'm gonna be at every open mic. I'm gonna be at other niggas' shows waiting online to sell a CD to somebody who didn't even know my name, didn't know who I was, and I would still come home selling like 17, 18 CDs and be like, yo, I got groceries for the week. Fuck yeah,
Do you like, somebody that's just coming out that comes to the Dub or one of the other few open mics that happen that are really hip hop centric, and even beyond, like just to different arenas. What would be a technique? Pardon the horrible pun, but like what would be a technique to to get that hostile crowd open? Like something that you use that has stuck with you like throughout up till today, or something that
I mean,
that people can dig inside themselves and
I
find.
just used to brutalize shit. You know what I mean? That was. It was a brutal technique. You just come at them as hard as you possibly can and display your skills. But I think that to show that you're more well-rounded, you can't sprint the whole way through, You have to show them different dimensions of your music and your artistry, you know what I mean? So if you have songs that are about different subjects, it'd be good to include as much diversity as you possibly can. Some people, they think that in order to be credible as an artist, they just have to be a pimp all the time, or a gangster, or a hustler, but even a gangster's a father, you know what I mean? Even a pimp is somebody's son, so at some point, you had to deal with a different dynamic in a relationship. And I think that, expressing this about your humanity and just being real with yourself shouldn't be something you avoid. You should, You know,
a lot of artists box
being
themselves
yourself. You should embrace being yourself.
Yeah.
And I think not enough people do that. They're afraid that someone's gonna, put them in a category, and in not taking advantage of, that open range that an artist has, they end up being the person that puts themselves in a category. They end up being a saboteur of their own career. They end up being someone who is marginalizing their own ability to get across with the crowd.